Welcome back. It's been a while since I did a video, but I wanted to do a quick update. So 5 months ago, I sent out a video. It was for premium members only. I also sent it out as an alert, so you didn't necessarily need to watch the video. However, I want to show you something. When you see these games, you know you're probably going to cry if you didn't play any of these plays. So. This video was filmed back on September 11th, so almost 5 months to the day, close enough, to where I sent out this video, and the video was called Six Stocks You Need in Your Long-Term Portfolio That Aren't Part of the Magnificent Seven. So I'm not talking about Apple, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Google, Meta. Any of those are out. Why? Because you should already know about those stocks. I mean, everybody knows about those stocks. That isn't new. So I wanted to give you six stocks that weren't in those seven. That I thought were absolutely must-haves in your portfolio. And those six stocks were TSM, SMCI, ANET, EQIX, NVO, and LLY. So that's Taiwan Semi. I'll go through them one by one here in a second. So these stocks did tremendous. You're up big on all of them. I think the lowest gain right now was EQIX at 11%. That was by far the lowest. So you're actually not too late to that one, I would say. I think that one's still asleep. And that's a data center stock. But I will make this video public. I'll put it up on my YouTube. This has been private the whole time. It's only been for premium members. I mean, look, guys, if you pay for a premium subscription, there should be some value there. And this was the value, or at least part of the value. So I'll just run through it real quick. So TSM is up 49% from this video. SMCI is up 210%. Not options. The stock is up 210% from this video. EQIX is up 11%. ANET is up 45%. LLY is up, which we actually alerted LLY before this video. That's up 62%. And then NVO, Novo Nordisk, is up 22%. So crushing it. So I'm just going to do a little update and just kind of show you, if you want to go back and see why I added these. I didn't just add these on a whim. There was a good reason I added these particular stocks. I did a lot of DD, a lot of research on these particular stocks, on the sectors they were in, or were all hot or heating up sectors. They'd pretty much all be home runs except for maybe EQIX. So with 11%, I wouldn't consider that a home run. I'd consider that a good play. 11% in 5 months, a lot of people would consider that a home run in a normal situation, but we've been in a pretty good bull market here recently. So, okay, so let's just go right down the line. I'm going to keep this real quick. I just want to give you a little update, kind of show you what happened. So we alerted TSM here and just kind of show you, hey, I'm not full of shit. So again, this video was done on September 11th. So we alerted here, took a little dip. And I did say in this video, hey, I'm not buying these per our chart exactly as per long plays. I'm buying these simply because I believe in the company, I believe in the business model, I believe in the sector, and I think we're going to see gains, and we did. So again, we alerted this here, took a little dip, and then took off to the moon. That's TSM. Again, that was 49%, almost 50% gains on TSM, and that's the stock. Imagine playing those options. which I know some of you have. Next up is SMCI. Sorry, I'm trying to keep this going in order. I didn't put them in order, of course. So this was our darling, of course. This thing is just on a fucking ripper, guys. What's it at? 861. It just keeps going fucking higher. It's insane. Look at this RSI. Is that 94? Holy fuck. That is insane. I mean, to say a pullback is, needs to happen is a understatement. But if you don't want to take profits, throw a trailing stop loss on. I had a good question, so in the Discord, I'll touch on it. Whether you want to use percentage or money, it doesn't really matter. It's kind of personal preference. As long as the point is to take profits, all right? So you're in a winning play. You want to make sure you secure profits. Whether you secure 50% of the gains or 25 or 75%, that's all personal, and can kind of, it's really personal. Whether you want to use percentages or money is also pretty personal. The one thing I will add to that is that if you are trading different stocks and you have like I have a set system really, where all my contract premiums are usually between $100 and $300. Now, if you're trading contracts that are like, some of them are like $100, and then some of them are like $800,000, $900,000 or more, then you probably want to shy away from percentages, because, if you take a 10% on $100, that's $10, right? 10% on $900 contract or a $9 contract is $90. So that's a huge difference. So it really comes down to, really personal preference and the way you're trading. Anyway, SMCI, we alerted this. I officially alerted this in this video on, again, all these were on the 11th. So you can go back and look at the chart. Sorry, my head's kind of in the way here. I can't really see. Can I move that? Yeah, so, I mean, we can go back a little bit. It kind of did nothing for a little while. So here's the 11th. We alerted this at $275 or close to that. And you can see it kind of danced around here. And we just fucking took off here in January. Everybody, said, oh, shit, this is the next big thing. This is the next NVIDIA. We were fucking 5 steps ahead, though. A few months ahead. That's fine. I'd rather be early on something like this. Should you take profits? At least put a trailing stop loss on. You're up 210%. At least throw a trailing stop on at 170%, 75% or something. 100, like a minimum 150%. And this is a very volatile stock, so that that should take into consideration a decent pullback. And if it keeps dropping after that, hey, you have your 150, 175% gains. So we are well overdue a pullback. I mean, SMCI is looking like fucking NVIDIA at this point. 210%. That was our big one right there. EQIX, EQIX. So this was our least biggest performer, if you will. So again, we alerted this. Sorry, I didn't get to kind of mess with this chart a little bit. So again, we alerted this back. So we kind of alerted this at the highs a little bit, and that's why it's only up 11%, because we alerted here on the 11th, and it pretty much took a big old dump. If you bought the dip, like I said in this video, I said you can buy the dips on these stocks. So if you just bought the dip on these stocks, I mean, you're doing on this stock particular, you're doing phenomenal. But even if you didn't, and you just bought here when I said, hey, start a position. That's what I said. I said in this video, you can start a position on these stocks, and then I want you to add as it goes lower. So even if you only start a position, you didn't add to it, you're up about 11% on this stock. So on EQUIX. Next one is ANET. So ANET was also a pretty big winner. ANET is up about 45%. So again, we bought this just like the rest of them. We bought this on September 11th, 2023. So about 5 months ago. Took a little bit of a dip, which you should have accumulated on the dips. This is a long hold. You're now up about 45% on this stock. Same thing on all these. I would put a trailing stop. The only thing I maybe wouldn't put a trailing stop on, maybe I would look to maybe take profits on, is EQIX. But you can always just put a trailing stop at break even or something. If you really want, let that fucker run a little bit. With the current environment, I would probably take profits. But using a tight trailing stop will work too. So 45% for ANET. Next is our darling of the healthcare industry, our GLP-1. So Alt isn't on this list. Alt also ran an insane percentage, over 200%. Lilly, which I believe has over $1 trillion, or is close to $1 trillion market cap on Lilly. So they have the leading GLP-1 drug out there, which is GLP-1, if you don't know, is your weight loss drugs. These are huge, absolutely, one quote unquote wonder drug, if you will. I mean, you take a shot and it suppresses your hunger and messes with your, basically your blood chemistry in a way. And it makes you not hungry, makes you not want to eat. So this is why, it's funny, the Novo Nordisk, the NVO, which is the last stock I will cover. They're the top two in this industry, in the weight loss drug industry. So you have Eli Lilly, who has Mounjaro, which is the diabetic drug, and then it's the same exact drug, tirzepatide. And then you have Zepbound, which just released. They just got approved, which is part of the reason it kind of skyrocketed here, which is approved for weight loss. So the problem they're having right now is they can't make the fucking drug fast enough. They cannot make this quick enough for demand. I mean, the demand is through the roof. My girlfriend uses the product. Her best friend runs a salon, a health spa salon, and they're using not this product, the same drug. It's just a generic version of it. So they have the leading drug, and I guess. Oh, did I lose connection? All right, I think I'm still here. I guess I'm gonna add in a little stock at the end for you guys, a little extra. I already discussed it. It's Alt, but I'll cover that here in a second, and I'll kind of explain why it's what's so good about it, I guess. So you have Eli Lilly. They have the top drug. I think they're like, you lose between 20 and 25% of your body weight just by taking this shot. I mean, it's a shot, then your weight falls off. You know what I mean? So you have, mostly women, but also men out there who are struggling with weight issues. I mean, think about it. This country, America, we have an crazy obesity problem and weight issue. Um, and this is a shot and soon to be a pill that you can take that will basically alleviate that issue. I mean, how much is that worth? It's worth a lot. I'll put it to you that way. Um, so Eli Lilly, that's the leading GLP-1. So since that video, Lilly has ran, or I'm sorry, not from that video, but since we alerted Lilly, they're up 62%. I mean, they just flew. I think they peaked out at about 770 and coming back down a little bit. I mean, look at the fucking RSI. It's insane. NVO, so this is their biggest competitor, Novo Nordisk, and they're up 22% from our alert. So their drug is not as good, but they were first. So you probably have heard of why am I drawing a blank here? Wegovy and what's the other one? Ozempic. How did I forget that? You've probably heard of Ozempic and Wegovy. They're the same drug again, same thing like Lilly's Mounjaro and Zepbound, but one is for diabetes, one is for weight loss. So Wegovy / Ozempic's results, they were first to it, and it was like, oh, this is a great thing. Their results were not as good as Lilly's Mounjaro. So whereas Mounjaro saw, let's say, 20 to 25%, they maybe saw 17 to 20% or something like that. Don't quote me on those numbers, but I'm pretty close. But then they're also having some distribution issues. They can't make it fast enough. You know what I mean? It's really an issue, which is why, these clinics, not clinics, but spas, and I guess it is kind of clinic, that my girlfriend's friend owns, are, I guess, in such high demand because people can't get these drugs through their healthcare providers, or they can't fill it at the pharmacy because there's none there. They will get that figured out, though. I mean, within the next year or two. Don't get me wrong. I mean, that supply is going to catch up, and their earnings will also catch up. But right now, that's kind of all being priced in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, the potential with these is just massive. Again, just run through it. So we're up 49% on TSM, 210% on SMCI, 11% on EQIX, 45% on ANET, 62% on Lilly, and 22% on NVO. And the last one I want to talk about is Altimmune. So there was just a hit piece out on Altimmune actually, but we got in on super lows. So we got in around here. I can't, don't quote me on exactly, but it was around $2 that we got in on this. As you can see, it is maybe I'm sorry, maybe it was 3. All right, whatever. As you can see, we're up like 300%. This thing just took off. And it's kind of mimicking Lilly. So there was a short piece that came out, a hit piece. Personally, I haven't read it yet. I've kind of read some rumblings about it. It seems like a legitimate, I'm sorry, not a legitimate hit piece. It sounds like they kind of just threw some things together and made some assumptions and scrambling around and came up with this. And you got to remember, they're short. So when the stock goes down, they're making money. So granted, we were due for a pullback anyways. I mean, this thing, the RSI on this thing was at 91 at one point. And I think eventually Lilly and um, NVO and honestly, all of these stocks are going to start coming back down. It just that's just the way that's just the way it is. You know, I don't know any other way to say it. That it happens in cycles. The stocks run, you know, and then they give some of the games back. They give some of the gains back, and then they run again, and then they give some again. You know, it's just a cycle. So right now, it looks like we may be kind of peaking on that cycle. May want to wait to uh, average in on Lilly. We still have a super low average, many of us, but I would maybe wait maybe till like a buy signal till we get another buy signal, and then I'd probably load the boat again. Reason why? So remember I was talking about just recently, a few minutes ago, how Eli Lilly had the best drug in the GLP-1 weight loss drug in the industry, with Novo Nordisk kind of falling, you know, a little bit behind. So Alt's drug is very, very similar to Lilly's drug, and it may actually be better. We'll have to see. It still needs to. It hasn't been approved. All right, so that's another thing, you know. And it will never. Let's be clear. It will never have the market cap that Lilly does or NVO does. But do I see this thing maybe going to like 30, 40, $50? Yeah, definitely. It definitely could, in time. Um, I honestly think it'll probably be bought out by one of, you know, by someone, before that happens, as many of these companies do get bought up. But I really like Alt, even still. I haven't. I'll have to read the hit piece before I actually throw out another alert. As in, okay, let's jump. You know, let's average in, or if you're still in it, or let's jump in. Let's start a new position if you're kind of new to it. But um, by all accounts, and their phase two results are out, and that in a lot of instances that's like the tough one. They kind of see, you know, what you're made of type thing, and the results on that were very good. Like I said, they were up there. They were above NVO, and they were probably right here with Lilly. And there's a lot of things they look for, obviously, but um, really, what I was looking at is, okay, well, how much weight, you know, have they lost? And it was over 20%. It was like in that 22, 23% range, which is right up there with Lilly. So we'll have to see what comes with phase three. You know, could be better, could be worse, could be right where, you know, where that's at. But Alt is another one that I really like. I mean, I love it at like $2, $3, where we actually alerted and got in. But I do think even here at, where is it at, $9? Again, I would wait until we got another buy signal, because you don't want to try and catch a falling life. Catch a falling knife. But you know, after this finds support and then this short thing blows over, yeah, I would definitely look at starting a position with Alt. They're a dark horse in this. There are also a couple others that I think are dark horses in this GLP-1 race that have been seeing some decent gains. I'm not going to bring those up. Those were alerts in the premium community. If you want, join the community for those. Yeah, that's kind of where we're at. So I just want to give you guys a little update. You know, these were the six stocks that I said you must have in your portfolio, and you can see why I said that. So proof is in the pudding, right? All right, appreciate you guys watching. I'm gonna do another quick video on our SPY plays from today, and kind of go into depth with the Q trend indicator and all that stuff. But we'll see where we're at here 6 months from now. I'm curious. And remember, guys, use your trail and stop loss. Don't be dumb. Take your fucking profits. Have a good one.